thank you so much for staying with Newsnight. The debate we had promised you earlier on is starting right now. On the 5th of January 2023, members of public in Elgeyo-Marakwet will go to the polls to elect their new senator to replace Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, who is now a CS. We have 6 of the candidates with us here in studio to tell us why they're best placed and what the vision is for the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet as far as the Senate is concerned. We also have an audience behind here who will listen through and send in their questions as well. You can also send in your questions on 22422. That's the SMS line. Tell us your name and where you're texting from. You can also tweet at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Newsnight. Let me start the introduction in no particular order from my right, farthest right. Thank you so much for making time. That is Tanui Timothy, Senate candidate for the New Democratic Party. Asante sana for making time. Next to him is Kevin Kemboy, an independent candidate. Asante sana for making time. Next is Jerotich Sei, Senate candidate Safina. You may know as the active citizen. Thank you so much for making time. And next is Tim Kipchumba, Senate candidate for Party for Peace and Development. Asante sana for making time. Next is William Kisang, Senate candidate UDA. Thank you so much for making time. And Andrew Kibiwot, an independent candidate. Thank you so much for making time as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll start by giving you 1 minute each to tell us why you're best placed to replace Kipchumba Murkomen. And I'll start with you, Tanui Timothy. You have 1 minute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet. I'm well placed to take the position which was being held by Onesmus Murkomen, who is now our CS. One, because I have a plan. I have a plan for the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet beyond oversight, beyond representation and legislation. I have a plan for the youth to have scholarships. I have also a plan for the youth to build an outsourcing center in Elgeyo-Marakwet to employ our youth. I have a plan for sports. I have a plan for insecurity in our place. I have a plan for the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet who are known for sports. I have also a plan for healthcare, which will include having a research center for apple medicine in Kenya. Thank you so much.
All right, brilliant. 49 seconds. All right, let's come to the next person, who's now Kevin.
Thank you very much. To the great people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, I want to say hi. I'm privileged today to stand in as a youth, first of all, something that is very rare, to present to you a vibrant voice, a new idea, set of idea. I believe this is our time as youth, and I'm well acquainted with the task that is ahead of us. It's only the chance that we've been crying as youth to be given, and a lot are there in place. I believe that we have to deal with unemployment as youth. We have the ability to address our health issues in the Elgeyo-Marakwet County. I believe also that given a chance, we are going to address the menace of insecurity that is becoming a menace to the great people and development of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Guys, I'm vibrant, I'm able, and I'm presenting to you a future that is visionary. So, thank you very much. I'm in for the debate.
All right, thank you so much. Jerotich Sei, why are you best placed to replace Murkomen?
Thank you, Trevor. Good evening, Wakenya. Good evening, the great people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. As the active citizen, I am tried and tested in terms of my servant leadership. I am somebody who has stood in the gap on behalf of Kenyans, whether it was matters around the Constitution and its protection or energy justice. I am somebody who believes that Elgeyo-Marakwet County's greatest resource are the people themselves. Chepkoech. I always say Wanjiko, and I'm saying Chepkoech. The men, the women, the boys, and the girls. I believe that Elgeyo-Marakwet County is a county that is conducive for business, conducive for investment. It is a county where we have a plan to make devolution work. A county where we are going to be servants and not profiteers. A county where human rights are respected. And I really believe that as the person who is well and best placed to replace Kipchumba Murkomen, I am the person who will elevate, raise, continue the good work that was started, and ensure that we rise together as Elgeyo-Marakwet County.
All right. Kipchumba, why you to replace your namesake?
My name is Tim Kipchumba. Greetings, Kenyans and people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. I was the first in my family to go to university. My dad passed away to cancer in 2012. I won scholarship through to university, undergrad and postgraduate. I wrote 2 books for high school students to inspire them. We've mentored a little over 26,000 students around the country. And I've founded several companies in order to create opportunity for young people. I believe the greatest challenge in the next decade in Africa and in Kenya, especially for the young people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, is creating opportunity for our people. Right now, today in Kenya, we have 9 million young people, unofficially, that don't have jobs. Every year, we have 1 million young people that are growing, that need jobs and need opportunities. I believe I'm best suited to speak for young people, to create opportunity, to work for young people. In my own private capacity, I've done that in the past.
All right. Kisang?
Yes, my name is William Kisang. I'm best suited.
Kisang, kindly switch on your microphone, so I'll stop the time for you and restart again. There you go.
Good. My name is William Kisang, and the reason why I'm suited to replace Kipchumba Murkomen as the Senator for Elgeyo-Marakwet County, one is I have experience. I've been an MP for the last 10 years, and I brought the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet West from very far. They didn't have any tarmac. Now we have over 150 kilometers of tarmac. And when elected as a Senator of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, I want to promise the people that I'm going to fight that Senate to ensure resources are increased to Elgeyo-Marakwet County because of the terrain of the Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Second, empowerment. How do we empower the youth of Elgeyo-Marakwet County? We'll ensure there are some dams. We have Aror Dam, we have Kimwaret Dam that were suspended by the last government. We'll ensure these dams are revived so that there is an opportunity for the youth to be employed, to be empowered. Insecurity along Kiri Valley will be a thing of the past because we're going to do a lot of irrigation. Even food security will be ensured that we have food in our stores. Third, Elgeyo-Marakwet County is one of the few counties without a university. I'm going to ensure by September next year, Elgeyo-Marakwet County will have a university of its own.
All right. Kibiwot?
Greetings. Greetings, the great people of Elgeyo-Marakwet. My name is Wakili Andrew Kibiwot Mengich. I believe that I'm the best suited candidate to take over from Kipchumba Murkomen. I'm an advocate by training. I've practiced law in Kenya for the last 17 years. I've participated in many legislative drafting initiatives. I've consulted for several counties from the time the new constitution was passed. I understand the workings of county legislation and national legislation. I have the experience having worked in several consultancy engagements with government of Kenya. I believe the time has come for somebody who is well-versed in law, somebody who is an avid debater, somebody who is eloquent, somebody who understands the terrain of our great county. I think with the new wave of government, I have the experience in law-making matters, and I'm the right candidate to take over from Kipchumba Murkomen.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kibiwot, now that you're still on the ground, now you'll each have 2 minutes to answer these questions, and it'll be the similar question to all of you to see what your proposals are. Let's start with insecurity, Kibiwot. Which initiatives on peace should be pursued aggressively to ensure that there's a peaceful coexistence of all the communities around the Kerio Valley region? What is your proposal? What would be the silver bullet according to you? You have 2 minutes to answer this.
Thank you, Trevor. On the issue of insecurity in our region, Elgeyo-Marakwet County, I believe that we need to change our mindset about matter security. These are issues which have been with us for quite a long time. Past governments have tried and still rears its ugly head. I think time has come for us to change the way we engage our residents on matter security. And key among the things that we need to do is infrastructure development and opening up that valley so that we build bridges that can open up the area to several development partners so that the issue of security doesn't raise its ugly head again. Secondly, I want to say there are outdated cultural practices that cause these insecurity concerns in our area. Time has come now that we must change how we address the peace initiative in our county by bringing on board all the stakeholders to be able to address this matter either through barazas, public participation, so that our people are taught the new ways of engaging in other development projects. Thank you very much.
All right. William Kisang, what would a permanent solution look like to the
I
insecurity?
have 2 proposals. One proposal is short-term solution to insecurity along Kerio Valley and northern part of Kenya. One is we need to ensure that we put in, we requested and I'll pursue to ensure we have national police reservists from the community to ensure peace is restored immediately. Because this is a short-term solution, say 2-3 years. After 2-3 years, government needs to partner with the community to ensure we have a long-term solution. We know there is one particular community where the bandits are coming from, and that community is not opened up. We need to ensure we have roads in TRT constituency. We need to ensure they have schools, because currently in TRT constituency they have 60 schools, primary schools. Out of 60 primary schools, 28 of them, they go up to class 8. Then 32, they drop at grade 3. Where do they go? They become bandits, they steal, they kill, they maim. We need to open up to ensure we force these children to go to school. Elgeyo-Marakwet County is half the size of TRT, and we have over 500 primary schools, while the other side they don't have. So we need to ensure we do empowerment. Third, we need to open up roads in Kerio Valley, because the Elgeyo-Marakwet side of Kerio Valley, people have gone to school, they are doing farming, but on the other side, they don't do farming. That's why I was saying initially, the 3 dams that will be built on the Elgeyo-Marakwet side, Kimwaret Dam, Embabut, and Aror, will ensure we do irrigation. When we do irrigation, we'll get rid of these animals that get stolen all the time, and our people get killed. In Karamachong in Uganda, Museveni did a similar thing, and the Karamachong of Uganda have changed their lifestyle. We also want our community on TRT side to change the lifestyle.
Your 2 minutes is up.
Yes.
All right. Let me bring in now Kipchumba.
It's a bit ironical that my colleague missed out the last 10 years to create a bill to actually criminalize terrorism. It's a real pity. Post-election violence was compensated, but the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, particularly the Olo Valley, were not compensated. That's something that should be done immediately. But we must have, as they say, free and compulsory education. We must have criminalization of banditry and treat this as a terrorist activity as it were. We need to have traceability for livestock, large buyers and large sellers. We need to have immediate reinstatement of KPR. We certainly need infrastructure. The question is not that. The question is not the solution. The question is who is suited for that job. My colleague had 10 years in Parliament. He missed out the Chesongoch declaration where the president was. I was there in my own private capacity. My colleague, Honorable William, was paid on salary. Unfortunately, missed out on that opportunity to broker legislation, to be present for Chesongoch's declaration. The question is not what the solutions are. We all know the solutions. The question is who is suited for that job. And the greatest challenge really here is, could we actually, what is the true source of peace? The true source of peace is prosperity. The true source of peace is young people that are gainfully employed. We interviewed post-election violence victims in Kenya. We interviewed post-election violence participants in Kenya in the last general election. What is ironical is that one factor could predict the likelihood of a young person to be violent. That one factor was called self-efficacy. If a young person believed that their own effort could get them what they want in life, they were 49% less likely to be violent. We did Mentorton precisely because of that reason. We need to get more young people to have self-belief in their own ability to define their destiny.
Okay. Your 2 minutes is up, but I'll give Kisang a minute to respond before we come to the other candidates as well, because you've been mentioned by your colleague.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's good I have a rejoinder, because for the last 10 years, we have fought, we have done laws in Parliament to ensure that there is no insecurity in the country. It's actually not Kiribati alone. It's across northern part of Kenya. And as legislators, we did, maybe what we didn't do, which we is criminalizing banditry as a terrorist. So basically, for the 10 years that I was there as member of parliament, I was along Kiribati, the declaration. We even did some final peace meeting and negotiated and said if animals are stolen, we actually did it in Liter and Chesagon. There was a Chesagon declaration where the then deputy president, the current president, was there, and we signed. It's only that I'm saying our community on the other side of TRTH constituency, it's like there is no government on that side. That is why we're saying with this government, we have to ensure that TRTH community, TRTH, the people of TRTH, yeah, we do serious affirmative action for them, open up the place, so that these people become Kenyans. They are not. They look like they're not Kenyans.
Your 1 minute is up, yes, but we'll come back and revisit that conversation shortly. Let's go to Jerotich Say. What would the silver bullet look like to this insecurity that we keep talking about?
I have 3 themes when it comes to issues of insecurity, and with those 3 themes are the solutions. First and foremost, Elgeyo-Marakwet County does not exist in isolation. And when you look at the insecurity, especially the lower Marakwet East, the lower Kerio Valley area, you have Baringo, you have West Pokot, of course you have the northern counties. One of the first things that we have to do, and we'd like to thank the president as well for saying that he wanted and wants immediate action on banditry. We cannot call it cattle rustling or young people not having gainful employment. This is sheer and outright banditry, terrorism, that needs to be dealt with quite swiftly. Now, what I would propose is that the senators from Baringo, from West Pokot, from Elgeyo-Marakwet come together, along with the women reps from the county, the Mama counties, and I will tell you why I'm referencing the women, and the affected members of parliament, and come out strongly, together, collectively, concisively and incisively to call out the profiteers. There are groups of people behind this, profiteering from the banditry, profiteering from the continued insecurity and instability in that area, and that has to be tackled. Things like radio frequency identification tags would be helpful as well, because even though we don't have towers everywhere and boosters, we can still see the last point of departure of the livestock. We need to get more stakeholders involved, underwriters involved, so that there is mass public national outcry when this happens. Compensation. If you go to the Murkomen massacre of 2001, where over 200 houses were burnt, where children were killed, livestock was stolen. If you go to the Kabetwa, Kapkobil, going towards Liter, this is also in Endo, this is in lower Marakwet East, you have hundreds of women who have been left widowed. When you go to Tot, there were 3 children who were killed this year. There was even a government agriculture officer, Mr. Suum, who was killed this year. There has been so many killings, destruction of property, women left alone, and there is no compensation. Where is the compensation framework? And thirdly, and this is very quick, Resolution 1312. 1325. This is a UN Security Council resolution bringing women into the picture because women are affected by this violence. And this resolution 1325 says we should take a gender dimension when it comes to the role of women in bringing to an end insecurity and how they can be stakeholders and participants in this process. So those are my three solutions that are at national level, a national, strong national, regional level, inter-county level, the compensation and justice that is required, and using international frameworks such as Resolution 1325.
All right,
Thank
2
you.
minutes is up. Kemboy.
Thank you very much. First, it is unfortunate that this matter is repeating itself every after election or campaigns or something. Something that is, it expresses my fear as a resident of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. It's like we are politicizing this thing. So my take for this, and I want to be categorical, is every banditry that cost our peace should be criminalized. For me, it should be dealt with accordingly with strongest term possible. What I mean is, it is first in itself illegal to possess firearms in those areas. You get, you understand that we need to have alternative as to how we are going to approach this. Number one, let's provide these people with alternative to better themselves economically, because you understand cattle rustling and such stuff becomes an hindrance. So we need to put measures in place. Like we are talking about Aurora and Kimore Dam. Yeah, they are part of the solution. We've been saying this time and again. And I want to thank Mr. President for, number one, presenting this with the seriousness it deserves. I believe we have a president that is so keen to implement security in the regions of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. I believe it has become a norm that we sent our leaders there, but each time this thing recurs, and it hinders progression in our county. So my proposal to that is, first we criminalize the banditry, and then number two, we provide solution to these people. Understand these are young people, young men who are supposed to be at school studying, but in contrary, they are engaging in activities that are detrimental to their lives, to their society, and it becomes enemy of progress. Okay. So I think providing an alternative will be a solution for me.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. I have three things that I want to talk about in security. Number one, I would like to talk this from a point of my two colleagues over there, that they were talking about criminalizing this act. Number one, you want to criminalize this act, whereas the people are illiterate. You want to tell somebody who has not gone to school or who has never seen a class that this thing is a criminal offense. How will you explain to them? So I have three solutions. Number one, let's emphasize on education. Let's take these guys to school. Let's make them change their ways of life. These are people who have not even seen a vehicle. They just hear probably them passing their security guys' vehicles and all that. So the first point of doing all these things is not even criminalizing. Let's change the society itself. Let's make sure that their kids, from the ones who are young now, go to school. Even if it's in introduction, the Kumbaro education system, which was there before, let it be done. Let these guys come to the light. We are fighting our neighbors, and we understand them better. These are guys, if they are taken to school, if these are guys who are given the opportunity to know what's going on in other parts of the world, probably they will change their ways. Number two, I think we should, as my colleagues have said, we should invest in infrastructure. We should open the place. We should be able to make sure that these people access things that we do access, either in the upper side of Marakwet, Keyo, Paringo, and all those other sites. Number three, I want us to talk about investing in our security system. We have not used well the National Intelligence Service. If we use the National Intelligence Service well, we will have information about the whole thing. We will have information that what's happening in the village, because I know these guys have mechanism of installing an elder or somebody, even a young guy, who can explain that 2 or 3 things are not going right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think if we go to education, we invest in National Intelligence Service, infrastructure, and also at the same time, lastly, Trevor, is every year people are killed in Elgeyo-Marakwet. People are also killed in parts of the country because of banditry. But these people are not compensated. So we go back to the basics and compensate them so that at least even their own families can make a life after that.
All right, before we move on to a different conversation on job creation, Kisang, I'll give you a minute to clarify something. You kept saying when you were speaking about the solutions to insecurity that we know where the bandits keep coming from. They come from one side. That it's like that side, there is no government on that side. Which side are you talking about? And is it that where the problem really is? Because there's always that counter blame game. They started, we started. As a leader, how then will you ensure that there's no blame game, but it's a lasting solution that is acceptable on both sides, rather than we know where the bandits are coming from?
That's a good, for me to clarify, because Trevor, I said that for the last 10 years, even before I became a member of parliament, we've had this insecurity along Kerio Valley. And I said our brothers from Tiatich constituency, it's like they've been marginalized for a long time, since independence. When these other communities, Marakwet community, Chaos, Tukens, went to school, this particular constituency called Tiatich, it used to call Baringo East. This particular constituency, it's like for 50 years, 59, 60 years, the governments that have been there in place never took keen interest to ensure the people go to school, the children go to school, develop the place, have roads, because these are people who are purely pastoralists, especially on the side facing Elgeyo-Marakwet County, the side going towards Turkana East. They have not gone to, most of them have not gone to school, as my colleague Tanuja has said. So as a matter of urgency, as leaders, as even you just said, the leaders from that region, we need to meet and ensure, we have actually met. For the last 10 years, we met, we talked. But the main issue that has been there in Tiatich, especially constituency, is access. There is no access.
Okay.
There are no roads.
All right.
Schools are few, but the leaders that have been there, especially Kamket, tried and Kamama to put up schools. Because when, I think Kamket took, when they became a member of parliament from 2017, there were only like four or five secondary schools. Now they have close to 10.
All right. I see your colleagues are itching to respond, so I'll also give them a minute each. Wind up really quick.
Yeah, that's okay. But I'm just saying, for peace to be restored in that region, and also for the community to become part of Kenya, we need to do something as a country.
All right.
We need to do affirmative action for that community, so that at least, you know, the children enjoy life like everybody else.
All right. Yes. Kipchumba, 1 minute.
No, I just find it ironical because he's been a member of parliament for 10 years. You can't say that on the 10th year. You have to be able to say that on the first year and do something about it. But that said, I mean, the government is. Thankfully, Kamket is part of Kenya Kwanza now, and so we should be able to work together. But no, it's really ironical. You can't go to parliament for 10 years, be on government salary, and then say that the government is not listening. You're the government. But that said, we do need free compulsory education across Kerio Valley. We need to open up the Bireto, Chesongo, all the way road. We do need to bring in factory. We need to have FLOSPA. The people of Soy South compensated, and the FLOSPA opened up. At its height, FLOSPA was generating 4 billion Kenya shillings. That's significant revenue. If we have mango factory, we have produce and market for our people, if we have compensation for wildlife across the valley.
Okay.
If we have irrigation schemes across the valley,
Your minute
then
is
there
up.
will be peace.
Okay. See?
You know, as a woman, I feel that there's a bit of tone deafness around the fact that we have widows, women who have lost their husbands, women who have lost their children, and who are suffering. You know, having worked in many peacekeeping operations, I would clearly say, and without contradiction, without fear of contradiction, that education is part of the chain of reintegration. We need to disarm. We need to demobilize. You're talking about highly armed, heavily armed young people who are out there. They're bandits, they're killing, they're destroying. So before we talk about education, we need to get into the disarmament of this segment of the population. Thereafter, as part of the demobilization process, as part of getting into a space of now creating a post-conflict environment, you can talk about education, you can talk about business, you can talk about that reintegrative process. And I'd also like to say that, literate or not, people know the difference between right and wrong. You know the difference between killing someone and leaving someone alive. You know the difference between stealing and not stealing. Okay. So I think that all these solutions are wonderful, but there is a process, and we must be systematic. And this is why I fully agree with the head of state, His Excellency the President, when he says that first and foremost, the fighting will stop, the killing will stop, they will be disarmed and demobilized. Okay. Thereafter, we see what to do. And we must never forget the fact that women are suffering. Okay. And children have been left orphans by this violence. Right. And there has to be some kind of compensation and restitution.
All right.
Thank you.
1 minute.
Peace is a driving force in every economy. And I believe the president was very clear the other time when he said the criminal or the banditry has to be dealt firmly and decisively. I echo that sentiment. Because I believe first, when we restore peace, we will be able to talk about education. We will be able to talk about alternative source of income, whether farming, whether irrigation, whether building university, whether building tertiary schools or whatever. First, we need to restore peace. And the way to do it is to disarm those people, first of all. If it means to flush them out of the caves, first, that needs, so be it. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So
Tanvi, I'll come to you last because you're starting us off on the new topic. But Kibiwot, you have 1 minute now.
Yes. Trevor, I must also throw my weight on this issue of insecurity. I think we are forgetting to address the fact that we've had so many declarations on this issue. There have been several peace meetings. And it has got to a point now that we need a national conversation and probably a task force, because we are not getting to the bottom of this issue. What is the root cause of insecurity in Kerio Valley? Why is it that it has taken so many governments, so many interventions, so many operations, and still we don't get to solve the issue? Honorable Kisangi has talked about the other people, we know where they come from. I think with all due respect, it is fair that we live in one country, and we must bring together our people so that we have dialogue and get interventions which can give us lasting, long-lasting solutions. Otherwise, we'll never get to the bottom of it. Every other week, some people have been killed. Recently, there was an attack. It has gotten to a point where we need to bite the bullet and get to know who are behind these spate of killings, who are fueling, who are the funders, who are funding these conflicts. Because at the end of the day, these are our people who are suffering, and our people have never gotten justice. Should we just keep quiet and leave this issue open-ended? Do we leave it for other governments to come and address? I think this is a time that we need leadership to take it to the center of the Senate, perhaps even a petition, so that these issues are addressed conclusively. Thank you.
Tanui, your 1 minute to respond to and close this conversation on
Trevor, you will continue making policies, making noise. But in the long run, the bottom line of all these things is changing the economic activity of these guys. If the economic activity of these guys, what brings food to the table is products from animals. How can you come and tell these guys, okay, we are removing all the guns from you. We will also make sure that you don't continue keeping cattle and you are not giving them an alternative. The best way is to create another source of income for these guys, a source of livelihood. If we do that, we will be able to curb insecurity. But anything higher and above that, we will have declarations. We will have a lot of peace meetings. Yeah. We have held them before. All my colleagues here, many of them do not even go to their counties. They have just gone because of the Senate. They don't know what ails these guys. Most of the people who live in Uasin Gishu come from the lower side of Elgeyo-Marakwet, not because of choice. It's because they cannot live there. And you know, when we talk about education, empowering these guys, we are not talking about the Marakwet side of these things. We're talking about our neighbors on the other side. So we need to come to the reality that these guys, unless we change their economic activity, these guys, unless we teach them, you cannot say that if you don't go to school, okay? Mm-hmm. You cannot say that if you have not gone to school, you know the right and wrong. These are guys who are stealing from the days of my grandfather. Okay. And they will continue doing that unless you give them an alternative or open the wall to them. All right. If these guys can have even a smartphone, for that case, they might change they might even concentrate on WhatsApp and all that. They can leave this kind of conversation that we have.
Now that you're still on the floor, let's talk about something else now. Let's talk about job creation and empowerment of the youth in that area. And I know you'll go fast. You have 2 minutes for this. In Elgeyo-Marakwet 2019 census data shows that 18.4% have completed high school education or even further. How can the leadership assure more of the youth attain higher education, which in return empowers them? It's not solely your role as a senator, but how can the leadership ensure that they attain higher education to increase this number from the 18.4%? 2 minutes.
Trevor, education is key. And having worked in the education sector for some time, the Eastern KCA University for that case, I think I'm best suited to answer this question. The reason why a lot of the young guys in our place or in Elgeyo-Marakwet, probably the percentage is lower, is because probably the economic power of the parents is not all that good. Most of our parents depend on scholarships, they depend on bursaries, they depend on the CDF, which probably was removed from the parliament the other day. These are guys who, without the source of income that other areas are enjoying, probably we might not be able to talk about it so much. But what we need to do is we need to create jobs for the young generation also. We need to empower the young generation so that also by the time, in the next 10, 20 years, they will be able to pay their school fees. They will also be able to school their kids, and the entire place will change. I have two things, and I will be brief on them, that I want to do for the people and the young guys of Elgeyo-Marakwet. Number one is I want to set up an outsourcing center that will employ 1,000 kids, 1,000 youths from Elgeyo-Marakwet. This is through collaboration, this is through partnership, and also this is through sourcing for funds. I know raising funds or resource mobilization is not an act of everyone. So I will take that initiative and set up a center that will be outsourcing our skills in Elgeyo-Marakwet. There are three forms of the outsourcing that I will do. There is the business process outsourcing, which can be done locally and internationally. As a leader, I should be able to go outside there and source the resources. And number two, to also talk to 3 or 4 companies that can give us the work, and we do it from here. Yeah. My minutes are up?
Yeah, your minutes are up, but you can finish your thought.
My other thought is we will also do an ICT outsourcing phase. Yeah. And also the third one, we will do a knowledge outsourcing. Okay. So that at least our kids who are finished, our young guys who are finished Form 4 can have a place to do some work. If, for example, we take something like transcription, which can pay $35 per hour, if that is done in a center in Elgeyo-Marakwet.
Okay.
You can just imagine the magnitude of doing that.
Okay.
I wish I had time to explain other ways of improving their livelihoods, including sports.
Okay.
And any other area.
All right, I'll give you another minute to finish later on. But Kemboi, what do you suggest, what do you propose for youth empowerment?
Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
First, I was raised from a small village called Cheboge, Metkei Ward, Keyo South constituency. I was raised from a humble background, and having lost my dad at a younger age, it was tough for me to scale the ladder of education. And I believe it only took the goodwill of the community and society to facilitate me through the CDF programs and the well-wishers until I completed my tertiary education at Jomo Kenyatta University. Now, to address the issue of unemployment, the reason as to why I mentioned the place I'm coming from, I can identify with the number of unemployment that is going on there. And I can translate this over the county. It is alarming. And it is until we have a youth or something in that decision-making table, so that at least every time we discuss on matters affecting our people, the unemployment, we need to have a voice, because it is like a norm. Every leader come, promise youths job, but upon achieving what they want, youths are left stranded, youths are left to fend for themselves. I am a reason to them. I am an hope to them that if given a chance to go represent them at the Senate, I'll move a bill or a legislation to have the business enterprises conducive to do business to each and every one of them. I believe we are living at an era where we can no longer just depend on white-collar jobs. We need to empower these people, these young men, to believe that they can do something of their own. They can tap on the talents they have. Have we discussed even about having the fields, for example? I come from a place where we are known for athletics. And Trevor, I believe those guys there, the youth of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, have massive talent. Okay. And given a chance, we can translate that into an economic generator that will employ a lot of young people.
All right.
I am keen to represent them. I am keen to articulate their issues if needed be. And this is not something for one person.
All right.
This is a collective thing.
Okay.
I'll make sure I engage with other leaders, from MCA all the way to Member of Parliament and the Governor, to have this thing addressed.
All right, your time is up.
Thank you very much.
Jerotich, what do you propose for youth empowerment?
You know, Trevor, and I hope we'll have another cycle, because this area of job creation...
Your microphone is off, Jerotich.
Sorry.
Start that
Trevor,
again for you. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I put it off. One of the things that I hope we'll be able to do is have another round, because job creation is a very exciting part of what I hope and plan to do as senator, if elected, of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Traversing the length and breadth, this is a major issue. We have so many people who are out of school with qualifications and they have no work. And you see, the beauty with job creation is it has a bearing on food security. It has a bearing on environmental protection, climate change mitigation, and also the broader idea of income generation. Now, when I think about job creation in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, I want to be practical. My solutions are always practical and grounded not in the theory of what if we could do this, but what is immediately possible. We have an 80% reliance on agriculture in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. And when we look at the way, when I go up and down and I see the maize or the beans and so on and so forth, you look to see how can we innovate around agriculture. For example, Ethiopia is the largest exporter of honey on the continent. We have great and massive potential as Elgeyo-Marakwet County to tap into that kind of activity where you have a mixed approach. For for example, you're planting green gold, which is avocados, and interspersing them with trees, and having your beehives, so that you have diversified and provided work for those who would otherwise be sitting saying, I don't have anything to do at the moment, and making money. So if we were to go back into agriculture and say, what is it that we can do? The Hanging Valley is so degraded across Elgeyo-Marakwet County, especially in the Keyo South area. Fruit trees, what are we doing about that? We can plant coffee. There's also macadamia. We have so many opportunities to diversify our sources of income and create jobs. And that is what we have to do. And in Metkei, where my friend is from over here, you look at sports tourism. And that's another area where work can actually happen and we can generate jobs. If you go to Narok County, you have the Koyaki Guiding School. We have TVETs in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Why don't we convert some of these TVETs to have a heavy focus on the hospitality industry? Because sports tourism is big and there's opportunities for our young people to work there. When you're in Metkei, you go to Mr. Tilil's. It's a beautiful little location. Yeah. People come and run there every day and go back to Iten to sleep. So if we begin to think about what we have as potential, whether it is in the tourism industry, whether it is in the agriculture sector, whether it is about building capacity and opportunities for more teachers to get into ECD with better salaries, or even the university in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, there are opportunities to employ young people within the county. So it's not just about chasing them away, finding them jobs abroad, finding them jobs away from the county, but saying, what do we have that is potential, where we can generate an income and keep our resources within the county and help the county generate even additional revenue. Sorry, I know I've spoken a lot. There's so much to say about this. Thank you, Trevor.
I'll give another round later on. Let me hear from Kipchumba. Kipchumba, what do you propose?
I mean, the greatest challenge today for every family, there is no single family in the country, in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, where kids haven't gone to school, they've studied, people have sold land, they've sold property, they've sold cattle, and now we are looking for opportunity. I think there are two parts to it. One of them is creating opportunity, co-creating opportunity with young people. And we have existing legislative framework that we could actually just implement. One of them is law, special interest group law, created by Sakaja. And that allows young people, women, and people with disability to at least get 30%. We need to enforce that law. The other one is to pass local content bill so that we actually have local people from the locality actually getting opportunity. We have a unique opportunity to pass legislation on agriculture, to pass legislation on forestry, so that our people gain from the forest. We have the second largest forest cover in the country. Sugarcane, for instance, could do very, very, very well along the whole Kerio Valley. And the sucrose content for the sugarcane variety that has already been tested is twice, and farmers we can be a net exporter for sugarcane. But the other one is creating opportunities, whether it's through after compensation for the people of soy, getting the philosopher factory happening, mango factory happening, and the other one is, value addition, whether it's in potatoes or any of the crops. But the other significant question is that one of values. My competitor has been constantly attacking me the last 1 week. And yet, for the last 5 years, since 2016, all the reports for Marakwet West have been qualified and adversely mentioned. Meaning, the Auditor General says that there is a significant problem with the way Marakwet West spent money in the last 5 years. All of the reports. You have my competitor here abstaining from CRA vote. You have my competitor, and I congratulate my colleague Sei for standing with the President and standing with the Republic of Kenya on BBI. My colleague abstained from the BBI vote. My colleague is on record supporting.
We were talking about job creation, but now you're giving him time to respond to the issue.
Is that job creation?
The real challenge is values. Yeah. It's do we have, and Honorable Kisang is a product of electoral fraud. He lost in nomination. He won in nomination in April, lost by 10,000 votes in August, and today he's standing here on UDA ticket just because he's a product of electoral fraud. Values is an important part of creating opportunity.
Kipchumba, your time is up now. You took most of your time talking about Kisang. But let's hear Kisang first. Kisang, before we get there, I'll give you a minute for rejoinder, and then we talk about job creation.
I need more than a minute.
He only spent 40 seconds talking about you. I was
you know,
timing it, so you have a minute to
I
respond.
don't know. This fellow next to me, he believes I'm his competitor. I thought we are 6. We are 6 of us here who are competing to be Senator Elgeyo-Marakwet.
No one attacking me.
Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Secondly, is this guy is a liar. He goes around to say his party is in Kenya Kwanza, and it is not. So he's a fraudster. Third is, I don't know why, when you're asking us how we can create opportunity and empowerment for the youth, Kisang is talking about reports that I don't even know about. He's talking about elections. He lost fairly.
Surprising, you don't know.
And squarely.
Let him finish his thoughts, Kisan.
He lost fairly and squarely, and he ran around to look for a butt. Basically, the guy is not even loyal to, he cheated. And he said he was loyal to UDA, and he was not. He's not even loyal to Elgeyo-Marakwet County. He doesn't vote there. This is a person who wants to represent the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, and he can't vote for himself.
Okay, your minute for rejoinder is done. Now we talk about empowerment. 2 minutes.
Get empowerment, I have great ideas. One is Elgeyo-Marakwet County is a beautiful and rich county. One of the things that I propose that will be done after election as a senator is we have Rimoy National Game Reserve. We don't have hotels. I'm proposing that the county government partners with the private sector, with professionals from the area, we do ecologies so that we can have opportunity to employ our youth. We'll have opportunity also to sell our produce to the hotels. Secondly, we have talked about the 2 dams, Aror and Kimwarer. Upon completion of this, even before completion of the 2 dams, there'll be a lot of opportunity for the youth, both skilled and unskilled. And we already have 4 TTIs in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. We have one in Tot, we have one in Kapcherop, one at Kipsoet and Jipsirei. So we are encouraging, and our youth are already in school to do some courses that will also help them to generate employment for themselves and employ others. We have talked about PLOSPA. PLOSPA used to employ 3,000 youth. But because of the issues that have been there, the people of PLOSPA have not been compensated. One of the issues that I'll fight for is to ensure we compensate the community, then we revive the mining company so that they can also generate opportunities for our youth. We have Iten, Elgeyo-Marakwet County is a sports county. And we are not making any money as a county from that sport. We have even discussed with the governor that we need to set up sports academies in our county. We need to also have a specialized training to train our athletes because we are losing athletes. They make money. After a while, some of them, they have not even invested. And as soon as we have the university, we have discussed that we need to set up a specialized course to do some entrepreneurship course for athletes so that, you know, they'll also generate income for themselves. They'll also employ others.
All right. You still had a bit of time, but you yield to Kibiwot. Kibiwot.
I think I'll prefer if you refer me by all the names.
So that your photos remember the name.
Andrew
Because Kibiwot is only known in the village, Chepkosom village only.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Which name do you prefer?
Just call all of them because it's now official.
Your time is going, though.
Thank you.
It's 20 seconds already.
Thank you, Trevor. On the issue of, as my brothers here fight, we don't know who won or never won, I would just say that an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. So this is not a discourse for today. Maybe they will take it to another level. But let me say this. First, you've talked about 18.4% as statistics which you've just read out. I think I'll dispute on that because we don't know the source of that information. 2019 census data. Thank you. I will proceed by saying we need, first of all, since 2019, it's more than 3 years, we need to have registration of the skilled and unskilled youth so that it would be easier to secure placement. But what should we do for our youth? First, I think we have not tapped the potential of our great county. The first thing, as mentioned, is that Iten should be elevated to a sports city. And I believe elevation comes with a price. It comes with the openings that will be available for our youth to take up. Secondly, I think we have not opened up our county. If you go to those sides of Marakwet, they are very beautiful places. And the first thing when you get to Iten, you don't get the hospitality because it's an open place. We need to have a resource center which people can even come and learn more about our unique culture. We have very unique things in our valley that people should know. And people should we should make Iten a Mecca city, like a Mecca, for anyone who wants to come and practice. We need also to lobby for opening of industrial parks. I think there had been a suggestion for Kaptagat Forest Industrial Park, which is more or less the center point where we can have ICT parks, incubation centers, which are only available for the youth. I don't think any of us here can fit to go into those incubation centers. We also need to tap on public-private projects, which I think now there is an enabling framework. People can come and set up academies. We can get centers of excellence so that instead of letting these foreign coaches to come and snatch our talents, we first of all build that talent so that by the time they come for them, we have an organized way of them being signed. The last one I need to say is we need to open Flosspa Company. I think that is one way youths can be employed. The waste products from that factory can be used to make tiles and glasses and other things.
All right, your time is up.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about the how part of all the proposals you've made, and I'll start with Kemboy on this. Kemboy, you mentioned bringing the all bills that will make sure that people are empowered. Now, we already have the special interest law, which essentially has AGPO in it. Access to government procurement opportunities allows 30% of all procurement to go to youth, women, persons with disability. There's also the prompt payment bill, whereby if they do the job, then they're paid fast. So which kind of law, then, do you want to bring in? This is the how of everything that you're proposing. 2 minutes.
Okay, maybe the question first will be, to which extent has that been actualized? Okay, because the reason for me to say we move a legislation, we move a legislation to make business enterprise more conducive for every youthman or every hustler to undertake his or her own business. We're simply saying we have laws in place, yes, but all we are saying is, how about we exempt youth? We all know the category of years for youth, the 18 to 35. We exempt them for the startup, we exempt them from taxes for the for the startup as a startup capital in their business, respective businesses. We are inviting a thought that, for instance, we have Hustler Fund right now, which I want to thank Mr. President personally for the initiative. I believe this will go a much deeper way in helping our youth access to that fund. But is that enough? Not really. We are still challenging the stakeholder to still be accommodative enough to have that address the ventures the youths are doing. Let's use this example. We've said youths from Elgeyo-Marakwet County have massive talents, and that is a fact. Using that to make an economic advantage out of that is very key and fundamental. And that is where I'm coming in to say, if it means, for example, in every school, training facilities have been a challenge. In every primary school or every high school, we upgrade the field system. We upgrade the playground so that it can be accommodative enough to tap all talents,
You're 2 minutes
all
around.
inclusive.
So, Tanui, how do you intend to
much.
execute all the proposals you gave?
Trevor, you need to
2
give
minutes.
me my first 1 minute, because I think you gave out a lot of time to other people. You cut me halfway. Number one,
you already spent another 10 seconds.
10 seconds, no.
It's okay.
I would like to talk about sports. When we talk about sports, we are talking about an activity, a talent that our people have across the country. What we need to do about sports, especially athletics, there is a scenario whereby an athlete from Kenya went all the way to the US or whichever country it was, and they didn't have running shoes. They had to borrow from a colleague to run. So what I'm proposing to do is we will set up a revolving fund, either through legislation or through the county or through mobilization of resources. We will set up a revolving fund in such a way that these athletes, many of them, there are more than 10,000 athletes running in Rift Valley, but these guys don't get the chances to run in high platform places. So what I'm proposing is we have a revolving fund in such a way that we can pay for their kids, we can also pay for their air ticket, and also pay for accommodation for these athletes to participate in races across the country, across the world. If we can do that, or if I can do that as Senator for Elgeyo-Marakwet, I think I will have done justice to them. As I continue, I will also want to talk about still the outsourcing center. You say the how. The how is through mobilization of resources, either through the national government, international partners, or even the county government. For example, if I go to my governor for a piece of land to build this center, he will provide for me the land. I will also go to my able president, who is also an advocate for digital economy. He has been saying it even this holiday, that where we are gearing towards is digital economy. So I would like to establish that center that can employ 1,000 youths. If I can do that, just imagine, Trevor, if we set up that center, how many people will benefit from the center? Number one, there will be estates. Number two, there will be transport. Number three, there will be shopping malls. Number four, there will be schools and all that. And number five, even people will marry and remarry in Elgeyo-Marakwet.
Your 2 minutes is up. Teach the how part of it. 2 minutes.
I request 40 seconds since everyone is asking for some time, because I was mentioned earlier. And I think I would like to just urge a high level of sobriety when we are discussing the issues. And I think it is one of the things I have seen that has characterized this campaign on the ground, where rather than focus on what we want to do, we focus on attacking one another. And I think that actually tones down or lowers the tone of the conversation and what it is we'd like to do as legislators if we are elected. So I would urge us to move away from the mudslinging and the attacks to actually selling what we need to do. So that if I mentioned in light of BBI, it's not juxtaposed against the fact that perhaps Mheshimiwa Kisang did not vote and so on. So this is what I'd like to request so that we stay on point. But I would like to come back to the how. Now I'm back into my 1 minute of the how. Back to agriculture. As I say, there's an 80% reliance on agriculture. We look at enablers, and our freshly minted CS Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, who is now CS for Roads, Transport, Infrastructure, and the county government need to look at the issue of the enablers to allow produce to move from the ground to markets. If you look at Marakwet West, for example, in Lelan Ward, you have a place called Mukula, which is about 10 kilometers. It's heavy potato farming, and it's 10 kilometers to the nearest road. 70 to 90 shillings does somebody have to spend in order to move their produce, and even more depending on the bulk. If we looked at our enablers, if we made sure that the Kera and the Kena roads were well put in place, we would be able to move our produce effectively and efficiently from the farm to the actual markets and maximize our profits. The other thing, the revival of cooperatives. We need to be able to revive them. If you go to Emso Ward, you have Kipendo Tomato Factory. It it was a cooperative-based approach where you bulked up tomatoes. That enterprise faded and collapsed because of middlemen. We need to revive it. We need to find the resources. And the work of a senator is to say, where can I find the resources up there? How can I dislodge those resources and send them down to the ground so that ultimately people can do what they need to do, so that the senator can work in full collaboration and coordination with the county government, with the local, with the members of county assembly, mama counties, and so on. And finally, very, very quickly, we need to have our priorities straight in terms of our focus on farmers. We need to subsidize farmers. Look at the recent maize issue. Let's agree, Kenyans will always eat ugali, so there will always be a maize crisis one way or another. What we do, and we make mistakes and we go wrong, is we subsidize the millers. We don't subsidize the farmers. We don't subsidize the consumers. And if we began to get, and this is the work of a senator, to look at that legislative space at the national level and say, how do we sponsor a motion or introduce a bill that protects the farmer, that protects the consumer, so that we can maximize on the potential that we have. We have practical solutions that can be undertaken very quickly, and we need to find the political will, and the job of the senator is to unlock those locked doors and make sure that farmers can thrive and we can maximize on the fantastic profitability that is in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Thank you, Trevor.
How do you answer the how?
Trevor, maybe just to mention, corruption is one of our biggest ills in the country. I don't know why it's so trivial that the Auditor General mentions Marakwet West adversely for the last 5 years. Adversely for 2 years, and for 3 more years, qualified opinion, which means that the money was not spent correctly. That's the same person seeking to be a senator today. That's not trivial. When you create opportunity for young people, you need to do a lot more. You also need to protect what the country creates. I hope we'll have a conversation about that, but let me tell you about the how. Last year, Canada employed 400,000 young people. 400,000. We signed a collaborative agreement between Canada and Kenya for 20,000. We never got a chance to send young people. I think there's an opportunity for us to look at our talent as a significant source of resource. The leading source of revenue for this country is the young people that are working out of this country. They sent us a little over 400, 500 billion last year. But then countries that have done collaborative engagements, for instance, Philippines, they have a program called More Than the Heroes. More Than the Heroes allows Philippines to actually export talent, because one of our greatest resources as a country is talent. Philippines last year, they generated 4.5 trillion, 1.5 times our Kenyan budget. Nigeria last year generated 6 trillion, 2.5 years of our Kenyan budget. I think we have an opportunity to build a collaborative framework between several ministries, Ministry of Immigration, to ease passport, whatever, Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Labor, because it's a labor conversation, Ministry of Diaspora, which the President has graciously agreed for us to have, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So when we sent in ambassadors to Canada, we asked the ambassador in Canada, last year, Indians sent in 200,000 young people. How many people from Kenya got good jobs in Canada, potentially earning $4,000, $5,000, 500,000 shillings to actually get gainful employment? Today, as we speak, Trevor, we have shortage of labor all around the world. UK have shortage of 100,000 nurses. Italy have shortage. United States have shortage. That is the opportunity we need to have. And I think that we have an opportunity to build collaborative framework in order for us to actually get young people leaving this country as a source of jobs for them.
All right, your 2 minutes is up. Kisang.
I'll take a minute first to respond. One is none of my competitors has been in parliament. And I want to put it on record that for my competitor team needs to understand that CDF, national government CDF, is managed and run by very competent staff, and the member of parliament is just a patron. And for the last 9 years, Marakwet West has been rated among the top 5 in the country consecutively. If you go to Marakwet West, for those 9 years, the CDF has been used to do modern classes, modern laboratories, we bought buses. So basically, because there is a competition for Senate now, and people don't know what to do. For the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, they become very petty. So I want to leave it there. Then now I begin my minute.
Your minute is actually up next.
No, yeah, my minute is next. You know, I saved the time for you also last time.
Yes, go ahead with the how.
One is the how.
Yes.
For the 9 years before I became the MP for Marakwet West, there was 4 kilometers of tarmac in Marakwet West. The 9 years and a half that I was a member of parliament for Marakwet West, I was able to lobby in terms of representation until currently, Marakwet West, we have close to 152 kilometers of tarmac in 9 years. And there was only 4 kilometers in 50 years. Secondly, within the same period, I was able to set up 2 constituency innovation centers with free Wi-Fi for the youth to do online jobs, to do research. There's one at Chibararwo, there's one at Kapsawar, CDM office. So if you want to know, please go there. You'll have free Wi-Fi, you can serve, you can research. And the third one, which I've said in the past, that the how, we need to partner with our professionals, with private investors, so that we do hotels, we do ecologists at Rimoy, so that it's easy. I mean, these are the same things I have talked from 2016, and it was the business of the county government to push it. But now, as a senator, I'll be able to sit on the table with the governor, with the MCS, then we allocate plots to our professionals who are willing to invest.
All right.
Finally.
Yes, very briefly.
Finally.
You have 20 seconds.
I want my competitors, especially the one on my left, is talking about opportunities across the world. Before seeking to be the senator of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, what has he done, even for his own village? Even one person. You know, before I became the MP Marakwet West, I was able to assist over 20 students in terms of paying school fees. I was able to lobby and employ actually about 35.
All right.
So I wonder why he wants to do it, and he had an opportunity even to go to the village and help even his own.
We'll give him a chance to respond to that when his time comes. Yes, the how.
Sorry, come again to the issue.
How? The proposals that you made, how do you intend to implement them?
First and foremost, when we enact legislation like creating Iten as a sports city, it will be able to transcend downwards to employment of the youth, because there will be so many opportunities like setting up of sports centers, gyms, stadiums. Those will be great opportunities for our young people. Secondly, we need also to benchmark, because you've seen like the Mara is a well-known facility. Why can't we have it in Elgeyo-Marakwet? I think it is possible. If it can be fully devolved to the county government of Elgeyo-Marakwet, it can be a selling point for our county. Thirdly, we can go to a way of like contract farming, so that people are subscribed to running investment projects, proposals, which I think will be an opening new ventures for young people. Because let's be sincere, I don't think it will be possible to create employment for all our people. So it's better we create opportunities that can open up opportunities for our young people to venture. Last but not least, I've heard Timothy talk about opportunities in India and Canada. I think charity should begin at home. We need to find ways of empowering our young people, either through sports, by having centers of excellence, by having ICT parks and in every ward or sub-county, so that you don't need to come from Medkay to Iten to access a facility which you can have right in your home. As a senator, I will spearhead that all sub-counties I have fully equipped centers of excellence where people can download tenders, upload their projects, and so and so. Last but not least, I've heard Honorable Kisang talk about the Chebororwa and CDF parks. I think that has been done previously. Moving forward, I think we need, as a county, to put our energy in having a county integrated plan, which at the moment is being reviewed, so that as a county, our young people can feel part and part of the governance. You know, our youths are being excluded. So I think this is an opportunity, Trevor, to have our young people come forward, give their views. We say if we have to set up these ventures, where do we set up ICT parks? Where do we set up resource centers? So that it will be easier for young people to fit into already an existing setup. Thank you.
All right, we're really pressed for time, but Kipchumba have been mentioned twice by Kisang and Kibi Watts. I'll give you a chance to respond really briefly.
Name again.
Go ahead.
Honorable Sang wants me to stand on this platform and tell the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County what I've done in the last 10 years. I've been a co-founder of 3 companies. I've mentored a little over 26,000 young people in my own private capacity. I've won fellowships for the kind of work we did. We've employed a little over 100 young people. We've delivered the largest solar plant in the country. That is more than 600 acres, 98 megawatts. But on this platform, he has a duty to tell the country, for instance, why. Because according to Honorable Kisang, I should be loyal to the president. But if there's someone that is least loyal, it's him. It's on public record that all the MCAs that are supporting him today supported BBI. It's on record that all when the vote for BBI came, when the president really needed Honorable Kisang to vote, he abstained from that vote.
Okay.
It's on record. It's on public record. Yeah. That is the only UDA member that ended up actually remaining. But that's a really important conversation to have. It's a character.
He asked you what have you done,
speaks,
and your 1 minute is up.
It speaks.
Okay. We have to, yes,
Trevor.
Another 1 minute for Jerotich.
Trevor.
Your 1 minute for responding is over, Kipchumba. You are supposed to just say what he said. He asked you a question, what have you done? You've taken time giving him a rejoinder. Yes, 1 minute, Jerotich.
Okay,
yes,
Trevor.
because we were asked what we have actually done. I'm not going to go into detail around what I've done around the continent of Africa in terms of my work over the last 25 years. But I want to be quite clear that as an active citizen, and you all know me as an active citizen, my work around BBI and protecting the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, my work around energy justice. Energy is a very important enabler. And even if you look at the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, you will see my words there, because we have said that without energy, we cannot move forward. None of these things we're talking about job creation if we do not bring down the cost of production. So things like Humanity Kenya during the COVID emergency, when we had shut down the country, we have record, Honorable Kisang, of having stood up in the gap and been there for Kenyans when they need us. And in fact, it is on that platform that I said that not only am I a regional and national figure in terms of my fight for the rights of all Kenyans, but I can also do this at my home level in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. So I think it's important to note that we haven't just arrived out of the blue and into this space of politics, but rather we have a track record and we are quite respected in this country, even though we have not sat in the House of Parliament for 10 years. Thank you.
Kemboy, what have you done? This was a question posed by Kisang.
Okay, allow me first to mention something. That it is notable that Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen have set the standards of Elgeyo-Marakwet politics so high. And, I'm wondering how and what my colleagues are up to when they appear to be fighting. And I want to challenge them and tell them maybe vita vya kunguru inaweza ni furaha ni? Yes, so you should consider that. You should yes, thank you very much. Now, I believe the people are watching, and
started by one.
Yeah, the people are watching, and you might not be surprised to see my basket of votes increasing over your fights.
Your 1 minute is up.
Okay, so
your 1 minute is already up.
Okay,
you're just supposed to say what you've done
Thank
when
you.
you take it. Yes.
Trevor, I've done a lot of things over the years.
Okay.
I've taken kids through school. I've taken kids through training and all that. I've been through the education system. I used to work for Daystar University and KCA University as ICT manager, and Daystar University as registrar. All students who work through Daystar know me well, that we created the work study program for them. So I've done a lot in the past. In my village, every single Arambe for higher education, specifically higher education, I've been there. The reason why I say this is because I'm keen in post-secondary education, even on beyond the legislation, oversight and representation of my people. Let the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet know that they need somebody who has a plan. Okay. A plan to take them overseas for scholarships, a plan, somebody who can lobby for them for those scholarships. I have the experience, I have the will, and I have the power, if I become a senator, to make our young guys have opportunities overseas. But for employment purposes, we strictly grow local. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, 1 minute. What have you done?
Thank you, Trevor. I think as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, I've been privileged to draft legislation for county governments touching on devolved functions. So I really understand devolution and how it works and how it should work, especially for our county. Secondly, I've also pioneered in tea farming. If you come to my village in Chepkosom, I have donated my land to Tea Research Institute. Now we are coming up with the clones of tea, which will do very well than what has been there for decades. Thirdly, I think I'm a people's person. I've traversed this country. I travel a lot. I go to many countries. I've worked with cooperatives. I've worked with the ministries, Ministry of Agriculture. So I really understand the small-scale farmer, the needs. I understand their concerns and how we should leverage and improve on their working conditions. Okay. Let's not lie to each other, talking about other things which are outside the scope of the Senate office. We'll be taking our people on a wild goose chase. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Now, because we are really pressed for time, I'll give you each 1 minute. It will be very strict. I'll start from the center. So Cherotich to my right, and then Kipchumba to my left. 1 minute each to say, as a senator, what will you prioritize? And this is also your chance to give your final pitch to the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet. What will you prioritize as a senator? 1 minute.
Thank you. I want to say that as a senator of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, the road infrastructure is what we really need to focus on. If you look at Keyo South and you're going from Nyaru down to Kimwarer, where the Flosspa mines happen to be, and you think about the fact that Flosspa mines have been there for 50 years and they have never tarmacked that road that was used to ferry the fluoride out over the years, we need to work on that. From Kimwarer all the way to Sego, to Msea, we need to tarmac the road. From Biretwa, going to Chegilet, going to Aror, going all the way to Tot, and even going up to Kapsoar, we need to tarmac those roads. If we're going to open up this county, if we're going to actualize all the wonderful things we're talking about in terms of agriculture, in terms of tourism, in terms of value addition, we need to have worked on the roads. And I'd like to say something in closing to the great people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, that I'm humbly requesting their vote. I would like to say that they are sovereign. They should remember Article 1 of the Constitution says they're sovereign. This is not about political party. This is about you as an individual deciding who it is best suited to lead you as Senate of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. And I want to remind people not to be cowed, not to be intimidated, not to have other people covered or blanketed by political parties, but rather focus on the content of the character, focus on what the person has to offer, and see whether this is the person who deserves to lead Elgeyo-Marakwet County for the next 5 years as senator. Thank you very much.
All right, that's 138, Kemboy.
138.
So you'll also get 138. Go on, start now.
Let me first echo and congratulate my colleague. I hear them say, I've donated this, I've done this in my scope, private or public. I want to congratulate them and say, thank you. I think you've had your fair share of doing your service to the people. I'm here fresh and new, only 27 years of age, but I'm full of ideas, full of energy, full of bright vision. And I'm really asking the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County to consider having a young mind and a fresh mind and a brave person to be there at the August House. And I promise them I'll never let them down. I know that it pays to be hardworking, but it pays more when we believe all together. And I say, vijana tupo site. Long gone are the theories of vijana tuwatafutia kazi, vijana we will do this and that. It is vijana now in leadership. We want to change the narrative. We want to be there at the decision-making table so that our ideas will be considered. Our ideas will be factored in. That is my message to the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet. And because we are youth, I am a youth, I represent the future. There is no way I'm going to misquander that opportunity. Okay. And I'll deliver according to my plan.
All right.
God bless you so much.
138 as well. Tanui.
To the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet, today you've had an opportunity to hear who has a plan for you. You've taken your time this evening to listen to who has a plan for you. If you want somebody who has a plan, vote Tanui on 5th January 2023. If you want to have scholarships for your kids, for your youth, for your children, then vote Tanui. If you want economic empowerment for the Mamamboka, Elgeyo-Marakwet is the only county which does not have a SACCO that they can say it belongs to them, apart from the teacher SACCO. With Tanui's candidature, or Tanui as your senator, you will be assured that we will have a SACCO for that case. Healthcare. Elgeyo-Marakwet is known for herbal medicine. In fact, Trevor and company, the media guy, some time back, quoted the doctors or the surgeons of Elgeyo-Marakwet. We are setting up a center or a research center for herbal medicine in Elgeyo-Marakwet, and that's through my candidature or me being your senator. We will establish 4 STEM education, that's science, technology, electronics, and mathematics centers in Elgeyo-Marakwet, 4 of them in each sub-county. If you vote me in, you can be assured that your kids will have a place to do science, technology, electronics, and mathematics every weekend and every holiday for free. We have talked about digital economy, and let me assure you guys of Elgeyo-Marakwet that it is your chance. If you vote me in, I'm bringing you to digital economy section. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Kipchumba, 138.
People of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, the greatest challenge we have today is jobs for young people. This is my rallying call to you. I will prioritize job creation. I will push for enforcement of special interest group law. I will pass legislation on local content law so that projects that are created, whether it's Kimwarer, whether it's the Bireto Jesongoch Road, the young people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County benefit. I will work on the talent export program. We will pass bills in agriculture. We want to use our forestry to help the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. I want to ask you, people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, this next decade is a decade to help hustlers rise up. We need to create enabling environment for business to thrive. We need to create opportunities for young people. Today, McKinsey says that the greatest areas that can create significant jobs for our people is agriculture, retail and hospitality, manufacturing, as well as construction. I have experience in those areas. I've raised the capital in my company, in student housing, in solar, in agriculture. I think we have a unique opportunity to catalyze capital from abroad, whether it's grants. I helped the past government to raise a little over £4 million. We have an opportunity to do the same in order to create jobs for young people. I ask with a lot of humility, you young people, this is a rallying call. It's the last bullet. This next decade, we cannot miss it. This next decade is the decade for hustlers to rise. This next decade is the decade to create opportunity for young people.
All right. You still had 5 seconds, but thank you for that. Kisang.
Thank you very much. I want to request the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County that on the 5th of January 2023 to vote me in as the second senator because of, one, I have experience, I have the network, I'll be able to help the youth to be empowered. One of the issues that I'm planning to do and also lobby with the governor of Elgeyo-Marakwet County is to ensure every year we have an exhibition/innovation week so that our youth will exhibit the talents, we pick it, and then from there we look for sponsors and be able to help them. Secondly, is security. We've talked about security. I'll give priority to security so that the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County can go about the business along Kiri Valley without any problem. Third is to ensure resources come to Elgeyo-Marakwet County by ensuring the CRA formula in the next round of review is changed because of the terrain of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. Fourth, Elgeyo-Marakwet County is not classified as an ASAL county. One of the issues that I'll ensure it's done within these 5 years is Elgeyo-Marakwet County to be classified as an ASAL, to benefit also on equalization fund, so that our people can get affirmative action, especially on water projects and other issues. Fifth is to ensure we revive SACCOs, we revive Prosper Mining Company, we ensure our dams are built so that we create opportunity for our youth.
Your time is up.
Good.
1 minute 30.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The people of Elgeyo-Marakwet, I, Andrew Kibiwot Mengich, humbly.
Your microphone is off. Kindly switch it on. Then we'll start your time again. 1 minute 38 seconds.
To the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet, I, Andrew Kibiwot Mengich, humbly request for your vote. I am ready and fit for purpose to serve you as your second senator of Elgeyo-Marakwet. My slogan has been Linda Ugatuzi, Usawa na Maendeleo. Devolution is provided in second schedule of Part B of our Constitution, and we have 14 functions that we need to ensure that we safeguard so that we can enjoy the fruits of our Constitution. Secondly, on the issue of equity, I will ensure that all our children, all our youths are entitled to equal opportunities, be it employment, be it contracts, be it services or service provision to the county. Thirdly, development. I will stand and ensure that all our sub-counties get development projects. We will fight for increase of resources to our county so that we can be able to initiate other development projects. I intend to lobby for at least setting up of a tea factory, setting up of coffee processing plants in the valley, setting up of a paratram, contract farming, among others, so that the livelihood of our people can be changed. On 5th of January 2023, please vote for me, Wakili Andrew Kibiwot Mengich. Thank you so much, and God bless you. God bless Elgeyo-Marakwet.
All right. Thank you so much. You still had about 8 seconds, but that's where we come to an end of the Elgeyo-Marakwet debate. We've covered this on the 5th of January 2023. The people of Elgeyo-Marakwet head out to the polls, the by-election that will then elect their senator. Decide for yourself. All right. My name is Trevor Mbija, sitting in for Waiga Mwaura. Thank you so much for staying with us this late. Good night and bye for now.